98.9's Sports News, sponsored by Island Bakeries and presented by Troy Biff Mills. I thank you for listening and invite you to tune in again next time to winnfm 98.9's Sports News, where we will bring you more local, regional, and international sports news. As I slip away, I encourage you to always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Thank you for listening.
You were listening to the WinFM Sports News, which came to you with the kind compliments of Island Bakery.
Island Bakeries, good to the last crumb for over 2 decades. We have the best sliced bread anywhere on the island, the best butter bread, cakes and pastries, and a staff that's warmer. Island Bakeries, good to the last crumb. We also have island-wide delivery buses, outlets at the industrial site Bay Road and on 4th Street, opening hours from 5 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Easy in the morning. Island Bakeries, good to the last crumb. Island Bakeries, good to the last crumb.
The South 98.9 FM.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices, Rams is always here. We want your loyalty, Rams is always here. We are community, we are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
I ain't got no hurricane safety tips now. Well, Skellek got, and together we can weather the storm. So, check this. Prepare for power outages. Charge devices before a storm strikes. Develop a plan in the event that electricity goes. Learn where and how to shut off your home's electricity. Ensure that there are no trees in the lines near you. If you are experiencing low voltage, turn off the main switch in your home. Do not touch wet appliances. Be sure to stay tuned to Skellek's Facebook page and website for updates about the outages and restoration. For emergencies, our contact numbers are 465-2013, 661-2013, and 600. I repeat, 465-2013, 661-2013, and 600. Remember, with Skellek's hurricane safety tips, together we can weather the storm.
Reliable and responsible. Skellek is here for you. Powering our community.
Don't throw those bottles away. Turn them into money today. Vitamalt bottles equal cash in your pocket. It's super easy. Just take those empty Vitamalt bottles to any Cara Brewery distribution truck or any drinks depot in St. Kitts and Nevis. We're keeping our beautiful Twin Island paradise clean. Vitamalt bottles equal cash back. Keep it clean, keep it green. Vitamalt bottle returns. Your bottles, your cash, your island.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
Good morning, and how are we doing this morning? To the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, a pleasant good morning. To the regional and international diaspora, good morning. Just to remind you of our number, our local number is 4660989 if you wish to join in on the conversation or bring something to the fore. In the US, we have two numbers. The first one, 305-921-4619 or 1-718-285-6984. In the UK, it's 0333-440065. Just to remind you, we are on your FM dial at 98.9. We are being simulcast on TVC Channel 40. We're on Facebook as well as YouTube. Just to remind you, today is Weekly Dose at 8:30 a.m. with Dr. Osborne, and we will be speaking about a topic that we know it's prevalent around the world, and now it's making waves in our society: dementia. What you need to know: we know it's a neurodegenerative disease characterized by a general decline in cognitive abilities. The deaths amounted up to 2019 to 1.62 million, and it is estimated to increase to 4.91 million by 2050. So we hope that we can find some cure, some way to stop this disease and decrease the deaths. I won't give you too much information, and we know the main cause of dementia is Alzheimer's disease. I'll leave that for Dr. Osborne when she comes in. So stay tuned at 8:30 for Weekly Dose, and then at 9 we have the Agriculture Department, and at 9:15 we have a representative from the Gideon Farms. So stay tuned for today's program, and we will also be discussing various other topics. Quint, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Trying it to be plenty better than yesterday.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that is quite good. Are you planning to be a Rastafari?
Why?
I just saw that accent.
My hair, huh? Nah, I washed it last night. I blew it out. I put it in a wrap, and I'd be like, "This is how I'm rocking my hair today." Yeah,
Well,
so
that's
I'm
roots and
great.
culture for you, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh boy, I didn't realize I didn't take the sound off my phone. So yeah. So I have the big fro today. Like the last time I remember having the fro, and Mr. McMahon did not recognize me. He thought there was someone else in studio. Good morning, Mr. McMahon. How are you doing today? I haven't heard from him in a minute.
I think he spoke with me yesterday on Voices.
Okay, so he's okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, Miss Henry. How are you doing today? Greg, good morning. I hope he found out some more information about the folks in the trailer.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm still waiting to hear the other side of that. So, to whomever has anything to do with that, you can call us or come in and talk to us so we can find out the other side of that story. So, Quint, what's on your mind for this morning?
well, not much. I'm just cruising along, thinking about things in Europe, occasionally in the Caribbean, and also on the motherland, the mother continent, Africa.
Well, I see France recognized Palestine as a state, and guess what?
What?
Israel boycotted France's announcement recognizing Palestine as a state. I share the same sentiment. I'm like, how mean can someone be?
Look, Israel is. Look, I just leave that alone.
Oh my gosh. And then the big hoopla in the U.S. with them kind of looking at Mr. Netanyahu with a side eye because they're saying that Mr. Kirk was invited to Israel. He was going to be given a ton load of money, as we would say here. But for some reason he declined because of recent times he's been changing his
Yeah.
rhetoric when it comes to them. And because I think isn't he a Jew as well?
I think so, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I won't.
I
bet
think I
money on
remember
it.
seeing him with one of those small black things on his head at one point. So he was changing the rhetoric, and a lot of them, like Candace Owens too, she may be in a lot of trouble too with the First Lady of France, Miss Macron, because she said she has proof that she's a gentleman. I don't know. I wasn't there
Well,
when she was born.
when you check the research, there's a whole lot of questions to be
Oh,
asked.
boy.
I tell you, because there was a brother who just disappeared, and then a sister appeared, and the sister happens to be the wife of Macron. So
Oh,
there's
yes.
some shady business. and when you look at certain things, certain
boy.
clips, as for instance, how Mrs. Macron sits and a lot of things, you ask yourself questions.
Oh boy. Okay, well, I don't want my co-host getting in any trouble because Candace is being sued. It looked like for everything that she owns when Brigitte is done with her. So I don't know.
I don't think
Candace has photos and everything, and I looked at this and I'd be like, boy.
I don't think anything is going to come out of that.
You think so?
I'm not a prophet. I could be wrong, but I don't think anything is going to come out of that. I think they just had to save face. They couldn't just stay there and not, do something or present some kind of a resistance. So they had to do something.
Because I remember at one point, you remember Joan Rivers?
Yeah.
She had accused Michelle of being a guy. Michelle Obama?
Yeah.
I said, boy, they wouldn't
But that's different. When you look back at, for instance, I've seen clips where I saw a clip where they were trying to show, they tried to show Michelle Obama like she was walking somewhere, and then they showed how the dress folded between her legs and I said, I mean, come on, those are ridiculous things.
Exactly.
But if you go back into Michelle Obama's past, you can see the history of how she grew up, how she went to school, her brother. But with Macron now, there are big missing pieces. Big missing pieces. Maybe you should do some research on your own,
Well, I think that's one I can leave with Candace. Yeah. My middle name is similar to Candace. It's Candace. I'm going to leave Candace to fight her battle. That's one. I'm like,
I'm not one who goes for conspiracies and rumors and so, but when I observe things, I try to do it with a critical rationale, and it's not adding up to me.
Yeah, because I saw the same picture that you spoke about, I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I hope the unrest that's happening over there is going to quell soon because, as the lady said yesterday in the clip, the rich profits while the poor almost always has to feel the brunt of it.
Did you check out what's happening in France?
I tried, but I'm not seeing anything new. I'm still seeing the old thing when I do some research because I tried to find out what was happening today, and that's what came up to tell me that France recognized Palestine as a state and Israel boycotted it.
No, I mean about the unrest.
The unrest? That's what I'm saying. I'm not seeing much because I put it in not too long ago, like 15, 20 minutes, and no.
Well, I don't know if it has
I said
overnight, but I know even one of the ministers went and made a statement, and he was saying that they suppress because the rioters had a motto. Their motto was block everything, and he was saying they stopped the block everything movement and blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. So.
And then I see in the U.S. they've raised the price of the H-1B visas. Those are the visas for the smart folks.
Oh, yeah.
Or skilled people. I see.
The United States of America is going to just stay there and self-destruct because of its arrogance. It just feels because of its worldwide status from the past that they can just impose on individuals and threaten individuals and obstruct individuals, Hello, caller.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Katensia, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Okay. Now, the unrest that is happening in Europe, guys, it's going to spill over, and our words are vibration. Our words are magnetic. Our words are frequencies. And our frequencies have to vibrate with love, unity, reciprocity. For 400 years or however long you may think it is, my calling is the fact that they recognized what they were doing. They knew they had to do what they did. Because again, when I said yesterday that they knew who we are, and they know what they are not. I'm talking about genetic makeup, guys. Genetic makeup. Make no mistake. They have studied us. If you look at our people today, they want to their unborn child. They're pregnant here and they leave St. Kitts and the Caribbean to go and have their kids born in America. Little do they know that when our kids are being born in that place, they are keeping track of our DNA. They have always done that because they studied us. Hortensia, do you know when Italy was fighting against Ethiopia, they captured, I can't remember his name right now unless I go to my research. One of the Ethiopian general was captured and they took his head to Italy and they studied him. They actually dried his body and they ground the body to powder and they actually consumed the body, hoping that they would,
get his strength.
Eating our human flesh, guys, and these are facts. You can research it for yourself. They consume our ancestors' bodies because if the name of the general is escaping me, guys, forgive me for this. But sorry.
We're here listening to
We're
you.
listening.
Journey, when you're going to bring certain informations, try your best to make sure that you bring, for instance, like how you said the name of the general is escaping you, try and get those things because the information you bring is kind of deep and people are going to question it. So you want to dot your I's and cross your T's as much as you can.
Right. Yes. I got you, Quint, and yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm saying is that these people have been studying us because, again, my inner knowing is that I am creation. I am creation itself, Quint and Catencia, and they are created. You see, they are hinting to us in their book. And I refer to the book as their book. It is their book, it is their literature, their theology, and it is their psychology on us. But they are hinting to us. But some people would say, oh, the truth is hidden in plain sight. Mm-hmm. But here we are. We are unraveling the truth. And once you know the truth is, you don't need to believe. Once you know, there's no need for belief. Knowing is superior, and you can only know by going within you. The book gives us everything that is external. I want our people to wrap their heads around external and internal. You believe, but knowing is eternal. So they've been studying us, guys. And all that is happening in Europe and the UK and America, it is the beginning of the end. But we as a people, I'm talking about my African brothers and sisters globally, because we are going along to get along, we are still divided. And when the universe is calling for the rightful people to take their place, to bring back peace, love, harmony, truth, and balance into place, we are absent. Because make no mistake, guys, Europe and America, they are not concerned about peace because that's the way they control us. That's why they gave us fear, chaos. I mean, guys, just look at their footprints. And that's how they control us because we are still divided. And I'll say this, you cannot unite until you become knowledgeable of who we are, because who were before us, the wisdom of who were before us, who built the pyramids, it is in our DNA. Follow me, guys. The book took us outside of ourselves. That's why everything in the book is external. The DNA of those who were great is in our DNA. The wisdom of the ancestors is in our DNA. All we have to do is to tap in. And today, I journey, I'm saying, with the the information is at our fingertips. Ignorance is a choice. Because if you choose, I mean, I might be talking to myself because here I am telling you about the Ethiopian general who was captured, but I don't have his name right now. But it is there, and I'm going to come back with that.
And what I would also want you to do, because I don't want you to become redundant in terms of the message that you bring. So what I want you to do is get bits and pieces of the history of, for instance, the Moors and certain different things, the first blacks to going to places like the Americas and so forth, bits and pieces, so that when you come, every time you come, you bring a little bit of the knowledge, because not everyone is going to go on their own just so and research the knowledge. But if you give them bits and pieces of information, it will make them curious to find out more.
Right. I'm sure someone out there listening might be familiar with what I'm talking about with the Ethiopian that they captured and they took his body. And just anyway, Quint, I got the point, and yes, I erred on that aspect, but I'll try to do better.
Well, we're all trying to do better as we go along. It's a process,
right. And I said earlier, Quint, that the book teaches us that a deity that they refer. I want us to also remember the linguistic that was spoken, because you see, the source of all, the all in all, the source, it's not verbal. It is sound, vibration, and frequency. But consciousness that was oneness, split in two, that we got divine feminine, divine masculine. Consciousness split in two. And we are experiencing flesh. Consciousness became flesh through birth. And all of that, everything started on the continent of Africa. As we say, Africa is the cradle of civilization. And we're talking about sacred knowledge, guys. Sacred, balanced knowledge that was perfect. And those who gave us the book, they have tampered with it. They kept the knowledge, and they use it for their economic system that we are under. Because make no mistake again, nature provides all that we need. If you look at our eating habits today, we are not eating herb for meat. Herb would feed the spirit. Flesh is a dead carcass that we are consuming, and that is why we are sick. Guys, this is deep, and we are far gone. But we can reverse most of the ailment that our bodies are now going through. And that's why the agenda now is to weaponize food. Because look at us, we're not planting our own food. I'll leave it there for now, Quinn, but just let the people think and let's hear what they have to say.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I saw something here. Ahmad Ibn Ibrahim Al-Ghazi, 1527 to 1543. When I put in the Ethiopian general that was captured and beheaded, so I'm not sure because I don't know. So that's all I found.
These things take time, so when you know certain things, I'm kind of familiar, but I can't say I recall that much because there's so much running around in my head that sometimes I have to sit down and do some research and refresh my memory so that it doesn't bounce all over the place. But those are things that you can take your time and research over time. What we really want to do, and I guess Journey really wants to do, is to sort of just give a spark that will encourage you to dig a little deeper, right? And I would want Journey to do more research too and bring more knowledge to the fore, because he of late he's been repeating what he's been saying, and I don't want him to be repeating the very same thing, even though repetitiveness sort of cements the memory, but I want that repetitiveness to be smattered with new knowledge and new information. Okay? So let's take a bit of a commercial break and we'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Here are your Horseless Value Mart IGA Independent Specials for September 18th through October 1st. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag Specials. Barilla pastas, just $6.99. Langus juices, apple and cranberry, $11.99. Essential Everyday Shredded and Chunk Cheese, $7.99. Sunny Delight Smooth and Tangy, $5.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Waffles, $9.99. Honey Bunches of Oats, $19.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. IGA or Essential Everyday Salad Dressing, $9.99. OxyClean, just $32.99. Imperial Margarine, $8.99. Arm & Hammer Deodorant, $8.99. Duncan Hines Cake Mix, $6.99. Libby's Canned Vegetables, amazing, just $2.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea, and we have just about 9 more minutes before weekly dose. Remember to stay tuned for that. Just a reminder of our topic for today: dementia, what you need to know. So, Quint, as we continue to watch the developments over there in France and in the U.S. and wherever else tensions, there's some place that I had where tension is brewing.
I know Italy's been having a bit of tension, but it is to do with people coming in, like visitors. They say they're having too big an influx, and people are coming into their country. And you see, like, for instance, recently we've been speaking about over on Nevis, where it is assumed that up to 7,000 people or thereabout would be in this space.
Mm-hmm.
They are saying that people come to their country to visit and then wind up buying their property and staying, and it is sort of a squeezing them in between, and they want back their country. So that's another thing that is happening. Germany is also having some unrest. Look, Europe is going through some problems, I tell you.
You know, I like to punch in things, so I put in something here, and I see it says what is a current issue in Italy. There are new reports of torture by prison officers. Violence against women continue at an alarmingly high level. Radicalized and LGBTI people continue to experience racism and discrimination, including state officials. Listen, there's a song that I know, I think is Pastor Webb sang it. All over the world is problems.
Yeah.
And boy, we see it all the time. Oh boy. Everywhere we go is just problems. I'm looking here, I see, no, I'm not that one. Okay, hold on, I see something here, and it's from Al Jazeera. It says, ports blocked as protests erupt across Italy over the Gaza. And I guess that, and they have pro-Palestinian strikes and blockades across Italy. Listen, I saw yesterday again, now that the hostage amounts have changed, and as they said, Hamas put it up again, but Israel just continues to bombard. So basically, I don't know what Hamas is trying to say. You still have 47 persons alive. you're going to kill them yourself because you continue to bomb the place. You're not allowing us to give them back to you safely, but I hate when human lives has to be a battle.
Yeah, and
for something it doesn't make sense.
And some of those who have been killed by the very same soldiers who supposed to
protect them. Because they're just firing. The people have them there already. No, my voice. The people have them there already, and what are we gonna do, Kent? What are we gonna do?
Well, what are we gonna do? We're gonna make sure we survive. We're gonna make sure that we observe and learn, and
because when they're done with over there, as Journey would have mentioned, they're gonna look for somewhere else. Big trouble.
Well,
our paradise, those things don't belong down here.
Yeah.
So we just have to pray and keep the faith. I don't know what else to say. I'm just going to touch a little bit on this with the pro-Palestinian protest strikes and port blockades held across Italy. And as I mentioned before, it's from Al Jazeera. It says cities across Italy have held pro-Palestinian protest strikes and blockades in response to calls from trade unions to denounce the genocide in Gaza and demand diplomatic and economic sanctions against Israel. And we know that may or may not happen.
Yeah, I'm tired of everybody just saying we recognize. I want sanctions, real, hard, firm actions being taken, but they all seem to wait back and use as an excuse. For instance, recently the United States vetoed what they wanted to do in the UN. So all of them use that as an excuse. Well, the United States is only one place. And for the life of me, I never could understand why in a whole big wide world like this, one place can use a veto and it works on everybody else. But when we, the small places around the world, we are in our numbers, in our own element, in our own area, and they just feel that they can come in and impose their will upon us. So it's the hypocrisy of this established world. So. And we're seeing it, and that is why I said we have to survive. We must watch, internalize, and learn so that we can move forward.
But as I always say, right, if something was to happen to us, the Caribbean down here, are we prepared? Do we have enough of what we need to defend ourselves?
Well, it depends, because if it is, for instance, if they were to up and just decide they're going to invade the Caribbean and take it back over, right now there's nothing much that we could do, but we got to keep our fingers crossed and hope that somehow that doesn't happen,
Because we see what's happening down there in Venezuela. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break right now, and I'll be right back.
All right.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Back to school is here, and Digicel is making it extra exciting. Go back to school in style with a brand new laptop. All you have to do is activate a 3-day Prime bundle or higher, switch to Digicel, or sign up for a postpaid plan, and you could be one of 2 lucky winners. At Digicel, we're all about keeping you connected. So what are you waiting for? Get ready, get connected, and go back to school the Digicel way. Digicel, better connected for back to school.
Back to school is here at Harper's. Yes, Harper's, it's where it's at, with the widest selection of school and art supplies for all schoolgoers, from the tiniest preschooler to the big cool college students. Plus, everyone can enjoy a 10% discount and a chance to spin the wheel and enter our grand draw in September. And the bonus is, our friendly team is looking forward to welcoming you again and again and again. For more information, call us at 466-6500.
Here are your Horseless Value Mart IJ Independence Specials for September 18th through October 1st. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag Specials. Barilla pastas, just $6.99. Langus juices, apple and cranberry, $11.99. Essential Everyday Shredded and Chunk Cheese, $7.99. Sunny Delight Smooth and Tangy, $5.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Waffles, $9.99. Honey Bunches of Oats, $19.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. IGA or Essential Everyday Salad Dressing, $9.99. OxyClean, just $32.99. Imperial Margarine, $8.99. Arm & Hammer Deodorant, $8.99. Duncan Hines Cake Mix, $6.99. Libby's Canned Vegetables, amazing, just $2.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea, and as mentioned, we have the good doctor in the house as we start a weekly dose for this week. Doc, good morning. It's been a while. How are you doing? Welcome back.
Good morning. I'm doing pretty good, yeah, because last week was a holiday or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we Kitishan, we enjoy our
little
holidays,
breaks,
all
yes.
the breaks. But it's great to be back here this morning with you and with Quint and with all of our audience. So, yeah.
So let's dive right into this topic that we have been hoping to bring to the fore for a while, dementia. So, Doc, what is dementia?
Oh, okay. So why we talk about this? We're talking about this was a one Cartensia requested it, but I also too have a personal family history of family members having dementia. My great grandfather and my great aunt. And in recent times, my partner, I think he's been here to the show as well too, he's been dealing with it intensely this year as his mother declined significantly with dementia. And from the time I met her to now, it's a completely different person. And she presented with all of the hallmarks of dementia. So what exactly is dementia? It's a group of conditions. We call that almost like a syndrome. So there are multiple different types of dementia, but it's a neurodegenerative disease. What exactly that means? Simply that there's damage to the brain cells over time, and that leads to loss of function, loss of memory, and that decline. Naturally, though, as we age, we're going to have some loss of brain cells. But with dementia, the loss is much more rapid and much more prominent. And there are different reasons based on the type of dementia. And there's change in daily activity, function, what we call cognitive decline in the person overall.
Okay. So what are the common types of dementia?
So yes, there are several common types. We know about Alzheimer's. Every one of our audience could talk about Alzheimer's, and sometimes people were confused, what is Alzheimer's, what is dementia? But Alzheimer's is one of the types of dementia. It is actually the most common type of dementia. That is why it is the most in the forefront. All the types of dementia, it represents about 70% of all the different types. So that's why it is the most known and most seen. There's some specific hallmarks that represent Alzheimer's. So it happens to be seen with early short-term memory. That's one of the first things starts happening. You start forgetting, Quint, what you had for breakfast this morning. And you tend to remember the things 15, 20, 30 years ago, but the shorter-term memory that happens. You have difficulty in finding your words as well. Disorientation, you have impaired judgment, things like impaired judgment, personality change. You start to realize that your grandpa, your aunt, your uncle, and then later as it worsens, there's loss of motor skills and they have difficulty swallowing. And in specifically with the Alzheimer's disease, they say in the brain you have what we call an amyloid plaque. So that is going to be what characterizes dementia by these specific plaques. And these plaques almost, you have what we call in the brain our neurons, and they're supposed to be connecting to each other, sending that information. But these plaques develop between these neurons, and so it stops the signal and blocks the pathway. So that is one of the most common one. Then we hear about things like vascular dementia. Once we talk about vascular, we're talking about blood vessels. So in this one, so it happens after oftentimes when people have mini strokes. Multiple mini strokes. Remember, we've spoken about strokes before, so there's a decrease in blood supply to a particular area of the brain, and those those cells or neurons, we have billions of them in the brain, they die off, and this person can have these decline. So you have weakness, difficulty in walking, you could have difficulty with your vision, problem with attention, planning, decision making, memory. And so the main cause behind that, you have multiple small infarcts or multiple mini strokes in the brain that can lead to that. The other one that is known, that is seen in about 5% of the cases, is what we call Lewy body dementia. So that you see, this is a third type of dementia. That commonly is seen when the person can present. One of the hallmark symptoms would be hallucination. The person is seeing things that is not there, okay? The person have what we call Parkinsonism, that rigidity. You remember when we talk about Parkinson, that person have that abnormal bradykinesia, that kind of shuffling gait and that kind of constant shaking. And that, another important hallmark, you have changes or fluctuation in your cognitive decline. Like some days going to be good, some days it's going to be bad, and you have changes in your sleep. And so specifically, they have some development of some plaques or what you call Lewy bodies, hence the name Lewy body dementia, that forms inside of the brain cell. And another one, most of us would have heard about it in the news most recently, frontotemporal lobe dementia. Who do you know who they've been talking about? Bruce Willis, a famous actor. One of the things that we know that oftentimes dementia occurs typically and worsens over the age of 65. But with frontotemporal lobe dementia, it tends to occur in earlier stages, like persons in their 40s and 50s. So you have personality changes and behavioral changes, language problems, memory. This person almost just blanks out or aphasic. There's no reaction. There's a difficulty with their memories in early stages. And in the brain, you could have what we call these pick bodies, would be what you find when you examine the cells under a microscope that would make it specific. Let me also say as well too, we can make the diagnosis of dementia with the symptoms, the physical examination, and some imaging, but to make a confirmation of dementia and exactly what type, it usually would need a biopsy. And typically that is done and confirmed at the point of death, because you will need brain cells to actually look at it to identify these different types of bodies and these different types of changes.
So no way to identify it before?
There is no absolute way. You can look at your images and get some ideas like an MRI and stuff along with your symptoms. But for confirmation, oftentimes in studies, they use the brain of these persons after they would have passed on to look and see the different cells and study. And there's another one that can be a Parkinson's-like dementia. You know, it develops after years of Parkinson's. We know that the Parkinson's disease is that disease where the person is shuffling, shaking, have these nervous and tremors. So it happens after years of having Parkinson's disease. And there's some studies that also speak about a mixed dementia where you can have a combination of these different types. But we often speak of Alzheimer's because that's the most common form of dementia, and we see it quite commonly in our community.
We did touch on some of the symptoms, but there's no harm in going over them. So what symptoms should people look out for?
Commonly, you're going to have memory losses, especially your short-term memory, all right? Recent events. I remember my partner's mother. She started forgetting what she had in the morning. She starts forgetting where she is. But she often brought up stories from when she met her husband years ago and some of the problems they have. They have difficulty in language and problem solving or planning. So you're not able to plan and solve. You're confused about your place, where you are, and the time. Where am I? Where am I? You keep asking the same repetitive questions. I remember every time she spoke with me on the telephone, she kept saying, "When are you coming, baby? When are you coming, baby?" And I said, "Oh, I'm coming in July." And then after a minute, she'll ask, "When are you coming again, baby?" And you realize that thing, showing that there was a decline. Memory and mood changes. I remember my great-grandfather, he had time he became very aggressive. And like he'll start walking away because he's confused and disoriented. And he often would say he's going back to his home because we stayed and lived in Keon, and he had lived in Upper Keon at one point. So he'll walk away, and when you try to go and get him, he'll be fighting you, and they can become very aggressive. And they, of course, they're going to have trouble with daily activities and daily tasks, like self-care and stuff. You will see a lady who was always very, as we say, prim and proper. Her care starts deteriorating. And as I said, repetitive questioning. She kept asking me, "When are you coming, baby?" And I say, "Yes, I'm coming in September." Then a minute will go, "When are you coming, baby?" And so they start doing that, misplacing items. One of the things that the family had seen with her as well, she started taking things from her son's home, and just random things that she'll never really use. She'll have a shoe, and she'll stuff it in her purse when she's leaving.
One side of the
One shoe. Then she'll have the computer card, and she'll stuff it inside. And sometimes things went missing at their home, and then when they go and visit her home with the husband, they'll find these random things that they've been looking for. And because she's confused, you would hear persons when a shoe ends up in the microwave because they're disoriented, they're unsure of, what should be what, the confusion and stuff. Misunderstanding what is the purpose of a microwave.
What are the signs that dementia is getting worse?
Yeah, just some of what we say, because there are different stages, of course, in the dementia cartentia. And you can have early stages where the person start becoming a little confused, but they can take on their daily functioning. But then you're going to have a difficulty in remembering and making decisions. So that keeps declining. All of the symptoms that we've spoken about, they continue to decline. So your daily tasks, brushing your teeth, making a cup of tea, working the TV remote, cooking and paying bills become much more challenging over time. You have lessening of rational thinking and behavior, and in your ability to problem solve. So your sleep pattern changes. So a lot of time these patients are up in the middle of the night and they're unable to sleep. And so they can have worsening in their anxiety, they become confused, easily agitated, suspicious. Yes, you could remember that they sometimes get suspicious. Did you take my thing? I had something here. Did you take it up? And so they could swing in their moods from sadness to becoming depressed and stuff. And so they need more help with their daily activity, such as grooming, bathing, bathing, eating. And these can worsen over time till the person gets to the point that they're completely 100% dependent. You can have things like hallucination, because remember when we spoke about the dementia with Lewy body.
So who is at risk of developing dementia?
Okay, the biggest risk is aging. Aging, of course, that is one of the biggest risks. Naturally, as we age, there is some cognitive decline. You're not going to remember things as easily and as quickly. And even in women in our perimenopausal period, we have brain fog, we have some problem. But that is not dementia in itself. So commonly age over the age of 65. And it says if persons live long enough over the age of 85, more than half of the population, 85 and above, will have some form of dementia. Family history. So if you've got first-degree family, like your mother would have suffered from dementia, one of your siblings, you're at an increased risk because there are genetics associated with it, okay? Things like high blood pressure. Remember we spoke about the vascular dementia? Smoking. okay? Things like high cholesterol, because all of this can lead to vascular impairment that can lead to what we call the vascular dementia. Obesity, remember with every disease, obesity finds its way there. Depression and things like stroke. So your lifestyle changes, alcohol, lack of physical activity. It also shows, too, with dementia, persons who are socially inactive, oftentimes, as they live by themselves, they do not go out, so they're not involved in groups with peer activities. Persons who do not do activities to stimulate their brain. They also speak about persons in jobs that does not stimulate you quite well. So it's low functioning jobs. After a while, the activity becomes so repetitive, so there are not any new challenges. So you want to always be challenged. You want to have things like reading. You want to have things like activity.
Puzzles.
And always have social events and social activity. The person who becomes the hermit is the one who tends to decline quickly. When we break it down and talk about it by race and ethnicity, blacks were on the top of that too. I think also because of the same history of having strokes and different things like that, and because of our high blood pressure, high obesity, high cholesterol, those are the factors that can lead to, of course, recurrent strokes, mini strokes, leading to some form of dementia. That is followed by the Hispanic groups and people like the American Indians, because the studies from the U.S., and Asian and Pacific Islander. But on the top of that group, they see more dementia in our race. And you always get saddened once we talk about
because it's like everything is us. I think we have the good, but then almost every disease we're up there. We're just at the top of it.
One of the things I think, because commonly a lot of these studies and research, because we do not have a lot of data here locally, but it's a lot of socioeconomical barriers with the blacks and stuff, so they tend to have a lot of disadvantages.
So they're not going to go to the doctor.
Yes, and a lot of times that we have those decline. And I think all being equal in a perfect world, and everybody had all the same resources, maybe the statistics would change.
Okay, got you. So how common is dementia worldwide?
So the World Health Organization said in 2023 there were over 55 million persons globally with some form of dementia. At least 10 million cases are diagnosed each year. And it also says that in the Caribbean, in our region, dementia is on the rise because we have an aging population and we have a lot of these chronic disease, hypertension, diabetes and stuff. All right, and a fact that we need to know that in the United States, dementia is the 6th leading cause of death. All right, we know why that is, because as a person decline in their phases of dementia, they get to a point where they become bedridden, even their muscles do not work, they lose a lot of their functioning and their motor skills. These persons often die of pneumonia. Why is that? They're unable to swallow, even feeding with them. Some of the food content can go into the lungs, we call that. Aspiration pneumonia, that is one of the cause, and things like bed sores, because they're bedridden, these persons can die.
Wow. Does memory loss mean dementia is starting? I know we touched on that.
We touched on that, Katensi, if our audience is listening. No, it doesn't really mean so. Lots of different reasons, okay? But some persons, we get anxious. I'm forgetting this. I think my sister has been telling me she's... I don't want to tell my age, but she's a year older than me. And she's talking about all the perimenopausal symptoms and the severe brain fog that she's having at that time. So no, as we get older, there are going to be some loss of these neurons or brain cells. And okay, so we're going to have some changes, of course. The memory is not going to be as sharp. But I've seen and I have patients that I'm so proud of, 82, 83, they're doing excellent. Okay, and sometimes sometimes you wonder what's their secret. So it's also known that memory changes happen over time, but there's a difference between that and dementia. Dementia, your decline is going to be somewhat much more obvious and much more rapid with the associated symptoms that we have. Just forgetting where you put your cell phone for a minute or two does not mean that you have dementia, Hortensia. And it does not interfere with your daily function. So just a memory loss, because we talk about persons who do have dementia, they're unable to take care of themselves, do their daily activities, pay their bills, prepare their meals, and they need help. If you forget something today, that doesn't mean you can't go and cook a pot of soup, etc., whatever.
Just a little block for the moment. So how is dementia diagnosed?
How are we going to diagnose dementia? With physical examination, getting a good history. So having the family members discuss this with you. What are some of the symptoms? What have you noticed that's going on? You're going to physically examine the patient, see how their movements are, because we talk about the shuffling gait and that rigidity that the person have. And you want to then do studies. Blood studies, why you want to do your laboratory blood work, because there are certain conditions that can give you dementia-like symptoms that can resolve with treatment. For example, persons who have hypothyroidism, the thyroid hormones, you want to check that. Persons who have vitamin B12 deficiency, I remember some time ago we spoke about that. They could have neurological changes, memory changes, become confused. So those will help eliminate. So you get your blood work done, then you can do things like a CT scan, an MRI, PET scan to rule out any kind of brain changes that they're looking for, because you can also look and identify if there's something like a stroke that's going on. You see signs where the brain is atrophy, meaning that it's shrunken as well too over time. Naturally, our brain is going to have some changes as we age, but it may be more pronounced with someone who has a form of dementia. So when you do your blood test, you're trying to exclude other causes that may give you some cognitive decline, loss in memory, and things like that once you've excluded that. So after, and then with your symptoms.
So let's talk about the stages of dementia.
There are three main stages once we talk about dementia, and especially with the Alzheimer's. So you have the early stage, the middle stage, and the more severe stage, and it worsens all your symptoms. Initially, you just start having a little bit of forgetfulness, loss of memory. These things start happening. You have changes in your sleep pattern, confusion. Then you start having difficulty moving around. You start needing more support, to the point where you become so dependent you can't move. These persons are just sitting all day in the same position. Sometimes they get so rigid, they lose weight, they lose a lot of muscle mass, they're refusing meals like that. And these are the persons then oftentimes meet their demise as a result. They say sometimes it can be between 5-10 years from the onset of dementia, where it becomes mild, then moderate, and then severe.
I actually saw a study where I see men can live longer with dementia than women, and I was like, oh Lord, I thought we were strong.
Why is that? Studies do show that more women tend to have dementia, but only reason why is that women tend to outlive their male counterpart. Because remember, we said as you get older, the percentage increases of persons having dementia. So these persons then, in their latter stage of dementia, in like the more severe stage, they have difficulty walking. We talk about difficulty swallowing. So these persons don't want to eat. These persons lose significant weight, and their muscle function becomes difficult. The same way your muscles are rigid in your arms and your limbs, you have muscles to help you to swallow. These persons, I've seen these persons with dementia hold their food in their mouth for long periods of time. Yes, and that is how you get the chance of aspirating, and some of that content could go down the windpipe and create a lung infection. These persons are in bed. They oftentimes, to a point where they develop bed sores, they're wearing diapers, they are not changed that often, the urine can irritate their skin, And this is how the deterioration starts. So they need a lot of care once you get to that point.
See, requiring 24-hour assistance. And then sometimes, too, I've watched little clips on movies where the caretaker said, but you didn't bathe for the day. The person be like, yes, I had a shower. When they ask them, sometimes it clicks, oh, I had a shower like this morning. No, you didn't. You had a shower 2 days ago or something like that. So it makes my heart swell up because I'm thinking, wow, at one point we were good, and then this is the eventuality for some of us in life. So can dementia be cured?
Catencia, no. We have there's no cure for dementia.
Not at all.
What we can do is there's certain medications you can use, but most of these medications are just going to be symptomatic, and they're used in trials, but there's nothing that specifically, you want to slow down the progression of the dementia, but you cannot reverse the dementia. Okay, so you want to do a lot of supportive care. Most of your management going to be supportive, all right? You want to things like encouraging them to exercise, encourage them to socialize. In our small community, persons are often sidelined as they get older, and granny can be in a room in the back of the house, and she's left there most of the day because everyone has gone to work. And so she has no social activity. So hence what happens, she deteriorates even quicker. Her diet, sometimes you put down the food there and say, Granny, the breakfast is there, the lunch is there. She's not going to remember at times. She's confused. She just doesn't eat, and that leads to her losing her strength, starting to deteriorate. So can it be cured? No. What you can do is slow down the progression and the worsening of some of the symptoms, and ensuring that you keep this person as active as possible.
I see they have elderly daycare and stuff around the communities that they hold on certain days, and I see they have a nice little following of elderly folks. So
we do that here, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because when I was in the U.S., I was in Texas, and I went to one of these facilities, and I was impressed. It's a whole setup. So the persons, if you're 50, if you're 60, if you're 65, you go there daily, because then you're interacting with the others of your peer group. They play games, they have social events, they had a coordinator whose job is actually to manage the facility and ensure that these elderlies are supervised, protected, but have engaged in activities. So that is how you keep persons as active as possible. The persons who do better are those. The persons who do worse is when their circle is limited. Going back to my partner's mother, for many years it was just her and him.
Okay.
And as she declined, there's not much activity. He was watching his sports on TV, as men often do. He was doing his things, and she was there, and she just kept declining. The kids would come around, but they kept living because they want to age in place, because oftentimes persons want to age in their own home.
Yes.
And so then they're not... And you stop going to church. That happened a lot after COVID as well, too. You remember that big job? Yes, job persons.
Caller, good morning. You're live on Weekly Dose.
Oh, no, sorry. I don't want to be live. What's the office number?
Can you leave a number with Quentin? We'll call you back.
Okay.
Okay, can you call back afterwards, please?
Okay, sure.
All right, no problem. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, so you want to make sure to do the lifestyle changes. To talk about prevention, Cartensia, is everything that we've often mentioned. Exercise, be as active as you can. What does that do? Keep stimulating your brain, ensuring that oxygen, your blood vessels are open and the blood is flowing through well. So you want to do that. Keep your weight down, it also helps. A healthy diet, of course, giving nutrients to your brain cell and to your body. You want to not smoke, and we don't support smoking at all in any form. You want to not do that. You want to limit or eliminate alcohol use. You want to get your body mass index. We've spoken about that, your weight down.
Right.
You want to control your blood pressures. We often speak about that. You want to ensure that your cholesterol is controlled so you don't develop all these plaques and narrow down your blood vessels, leading to strokes and all these mini strokes that you can have that leads to the decline. And have a healthy social relationship with your families, with your peers, with your partner. Do things, travel, be out and about. Those things really do help.
Boy, I just longed, and as I said earlier when we started, I hope eventually we find a cure, but to hear that there's no cure, there are only things that can slow it down. I don't want to say it's a bummer for me, but I just want everybody to live a long, healthy, memorable life.
But it starts now. It starts now. Sometimes I challenge us. It's easy to say, man, I'm exhausted. I don't want to go for that extra walk this afternoon.
That's so true.
So we challenge each other to do that. Get up and go. So it means that we're challenging each other to get off the cell phones and go to bed earlier, because sleep is important. What sleep does as well, it repairs any damage that has happened throughout the day. It restores you, it refreshes you. And so you need to do that. So you're not staying up at midnight, 1 o'clock, and at a frequent rate. You're getting a full night's sleep. You're exercising. You're planning your meals better. You're limiting all of this need to wait. It's become such a hobby to drink in social events. And if you're not drinking, you're the weird or odd ones. All of this because we know that alcohol can damage the brain, and it leads to earlier atrophy of the brain, where the brain shrinks. So these are things that can lead to, that we can control. Wellness, yoga, stretching, eating well. If we make these better decisions, we can maybe not completely prevent it, but delay it. So when the signs and symptoms come on, we are much later in age, and they're much milder as well, because you can try to keep your symptoms as best as you can before it gets to severity. So the milder the condition of dementia, the better it is for you ultimately.
Oh, well, Doc, thank you so much for coming in and educating us. It's always a pleasure. I learned so much. I'm sure our listening audience
Quinn, do you
learn
have
a
any
lot.
questions or any thoughts?
No, on occasions like these, I'm reminded that there's so much I don't know. I prefer to listen because I learn. So when you come in, on most occasions, as you know, I listen and I learn.
Yeah, because I remember I seen a patient in the office, and I was happy that she came and we had a good conversation, and she started telling me, Doc, I'm realizing that I'm starting to forget things now. And I said to her, wow, I started thinking about early signs of dementia. I said, well, let us check and make sure your blood works were okay and stuff like that. You want to always make sure there is nothing organic. What we mean, nothing that is actually wrong. And so once you've eliminated that, you want to encourage the person to do as much. I started telling her, no, you've got to start reading, finding games to do. Because scrolling on the cell phone is mindless. There is no stimulation really there, nothing challenging. There are lots of games you can play, but once you master that game, start doing a different type of game where it keeps your brain going and being active. Walk with your friends. So 2 ladies who are both 70, you have your friend, and as you walk, they said it's actually very good because you're doing 2 activities. You're walking and you're talking. And you're engaging in that social activity. You're looking around, you're outside. Being in these 4 walls that we often do. Can I tell you people something? There are times if I'm not on call, I don't have to do this. There might be a Sunday that I don't even open my door. And it can be crazy like that. So you do not leave those 4 walls. And those are things where you become isolated. And we've got to be careful about that isolation, Hortensia. So get out, meet up with a friend, be more outgoing, be more active. And those things help overall.
Certainly do, and I hope you listen to the words of the good doctor and you will do as she say and ensure that those things help you and you delay the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia. So thank you, Doc. Have a great day and a great week, and
Okay, I wish everybody a great day as well, and be kind to each other. Bye-bye.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Got itchy palms? That's a sign. Money could be coming your way with Scratch and Win from Caribbean Lottery. It's the easiest way to win instantly. No waiting, no fuss. With tickets starting from just $2 up to $20. Win over $35 million in prizes. The higher the price, the bigger the prize. So scratch today for your chance to win up to $200,000. Available at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 years and older to play.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
Church's Texas Chicken is of.
Got itchy palms? That's a sign. Money could be coming your way.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
Church's Texas Chicken is on its way to St. Kitts and Nevis, and we're hiring. You can be part of our growing team as we open our very first store on the island. We're looking for motivated managers, friendly customer service reps, and hard-working kitchen champions. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Send us your resumes today at jobs@pizzaboys.com. Church's Texas Chicken. Flavor you love.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea, and with me in studio we have Mr. Sankofa, and I'll let his daughter name herself. I didn't ask your name, sorry about that. I guess I got busy with everything else. So welcome to Island Tea. Go
Good
ahead.
morning, my name is Kalela Maccabee.
Okay, nice to meet you, Kalela. Should I start with Kalela or should I start with you, kind sir?
I could start.
All right, no problem. So go right ahead. Tell us about the Gideon Force Organic Corp.
Yeah, the Gideon Force organized, Gideon Force Organic Cooperative is a cooperative that was established, in 2009. So you could see that we're operating for basically 16 years now this year. We'd make it 16 years in operation. We were registered in probably 2010, 2009. So we give thanks, and it's a cooperative that deals with organic farming. That's the main thing that we deal with. It's a farmers cooperative. It's part of the St. Kitts, cooperative, St. Kitts cooperative unions, So it's like, the reality is like, all of us are different cooperatives. What we deal with mostly farming, but our specific farming is organic. And we also are a Rastafari group still in a technical sense, because the original aspect of our cooperative is our churchical organization, which is Tiwaladi House of David. So it's almost like an arm from that organization we are still. And we do produce good organically grown food for a healthier way of life. So we produce good food for the people in the Federation and for the different entities in the Federation, because we do a lot of giveaways to the poorhouse and different organizations that dealing with the elderly and what's not. So we also give food to persons who in need still as well. So we're very into a lot of charities still too. And differently than that, we also engage in business activities as well too. We sell to different hotels, different persons in the community that do selling to, like Alfredo's, like restaurants. We also sell to the common people, I, who there every day into the struggle, like door to door. So we have a good organization going on, and I'm very proud to be a member of the Gideon Force Organic Cooperative.
Okay, so tell us a bit about the organic market that you have coming up on Sunday, September the 28th.
I'll let the PRO introduce herself properly.
Greetings, everybody, in the name of the Almighty Father, His Son Yeshua the Christ, and Kamari Haile Selassie Christ. I hope everyone having a good morning so far. And so I'm here as the PRO of House of Judah Musical Foundation. This is a musical group that was founded long ago. My father actually had the first branch, which was more of adults.
Okay.
And so now we are the younger generation, me and my siblings. We are the more younger generation of it. It's still House of Yehuda, still House of Judah, moving forward. And so we, along with Gideon Force, have been organizing the upcoming event, the organic market. And so we deal with more of a musical aspect, but we will also have a booth where we sell like food items like veggie pizza, veggie burgers. Also, some of my sisters, well, one of my sisters, she does like crochet. Okay. So we have that on the stall as well. And I own a business, skincare, natural skincare. Nice. So we will be having like a variety of stuff. Also, they will have other vendors selling different things. We have Sugartown Organics. We have Lion of Judah Herbal Remedies. We have, of course, Gideon Force and SPACs Cooperative, Rast Phillip Botanical Gardens, and just to name a few, we have Disha's Spice Basket, and we have a flyer going around. Hopefully, you'll be able to see it. Hopefully, the viewers will be able to see it. So yeah, we have a flyer going around, and as I think I already mentioned, the event is the 28th of September, which is this coming Sunday.
Okay, and the time for that event?
Oh, in Deep Bay, on the Deep Bay lawn, from 2 p.m. to around later down 9, 10.
Okay. I see you have special guest artist Footsie. I know everybody know Footsie.
Yes.
So Footsie. So Footsie's going to be there, so go on out and look for Footsie. You have agriculture speeches and giveaways. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I'll give a little reasoning about that there still. Well, some of the giveaways for sure is going to be food packages.
Okay.
For as most persons, we might do a little quiz, something like not a quiz, but ask a question, and based on your answer, we give you a food package, or just generally give our natural food packages that we do to the elderlies as well too. But we also having a special moment where we're going to be actually honoring somebody in our community, a young girl. She's done a lot of work, towards the development of the sports and for the youth development in our community, and we're very happy for that. And we want to give that shout out to her and that respect for her still. I don't know if it's a secret or if it's still a thing, so I'm not even going to call her name right now.
Okay.
But she know who she is because we already contacted her. So we give thanks for this opportunity. So if you're interested in coming to even support, this person, because I know some of you would know too, because we have engaged the community in that. Come out and support her because she deserves it for the work that she's doing with the youth them. It's important to have people like this because I remember my time doing this at that age still that she's doing it. So, man, we just give thanks for that. So we thought it was necessary. And I just want to really touch on the artists them, because sometimes we don't really get to focus on them. I want to be more specific towards who's going to be performing at the event, because It's a unique event. We're hoping to have a cultural presentation in the form of steel pan music. That's at the early start. We're going to have Nyabingi drumming. Drumming, that's going to be the first thing that we're hopefully trying to do. Well, the prayer and the Nyabingi drumming. So we're going to have those things covered under Tiwala, the House of David. So we're also going to have House of Yehuda, which is she already explained, but we have a song that we're going to be releasing here even Friday on WinFM with two of the artists them from the House of Yehuda, which is my son and my daughters, a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. We have way more than that in stock with our House of Yehuda. We also have a new drumming group that we just established still within that area there, beside Paul's Passing Ground area. And maybe 2 persons coming from Old Road as well to call it Genesis Drummers. They will be making a debut. So we're having a debut of a first track that 2 of these young artists produce. And we're also having a debut for a drumming group that just was organized. They already, but it's not a full debut, I should say, because they actually went in independence and did a thing at the school. So it's a second performance for them still, in a sense. So it's a new drumming group. And we give thanks for that. There we will have Jakali, another young youth again. This youth is about 5-6 years old. So he having his time to perform too as well. So it's a lot of engagement for the youths them. And then you have the elder artists them like Shiloh, who is really part of a House of Yehuda, but he's going to be performing as an individual act. My name is not on the flyer, but I always hold in the mic, so most likely I will perform too as well. Good. CV, an artist from Nevis, one of the best voices in St. Kitts, to tell you the honest truth. I got to just give her that respect. And performance quality too, because it's years we rolling with this history in a kind of way still. And I feel like sometimes the music festival don't really have what, they don't know the artists them. And they themselves need to come around these events and see and pick out artists, see the quality of the artists, and then even train them so that they could even become a better artist if they feel like they're not ready for the fest. But send forward, because you can't just put the same people on the fest all the while, and you can't always ignore the better artists, them who've been ignored over the years. And there's many of them, and she's one of them for sure. Maybe she haven't engaged, but definitely. Kitsia, another hot young female artist, mid-age now, but you know, she been doing it from a youth. Then you have Tafari, another young artist from Passing Ground, making his first. Most people know him as Silvern, you know, so they don't even know this youth into what he into still. So, and then you have OJ, a Jamaican brethren there that always come to and give us a good performance. Jungles, everybody knows Jungles too. Just like you say, everybody knows Footsie. Everybody knows Jungles, who be and a House of Royalty, which is a group that was there in the 90s with us coming up. And there's some fire artists from St. Paul's, real up the crowd kind of energy still. Pakis is part of 313 and them man, they still, the man could here. But they know they got to keep it conscious when they come around and still. So we give thanks for such artists, and even Footsie. Footsie always keep it conscious from way back. You know, everybody know Footsie, as you say. And we so happy to engage him, and he's so happy to really, and it was so easy to engage him. I thought it would have been this, like this rough thing, and cause sometimes to get these artists, no fitting no more, you know. So, you know, and he was able to agree to terms, and we're happy to have Footsie as our special guest artist.
Okay, so as we wind up, can we remind the general public of the day of the event, the time where the event will be, and encourage them to come out and support?
So the event will be taking place this Sunday, the 28th of September, from 2 p.m. to around 9 p.m. at the Date Bay Lawn. And if you don't know where the Date Bay Lawn is like right behind the bus stop, basically next to the post office. So I hope y'all will be coming out to support the event and have a good time.
Is there a fee to enter the event, or it's
no,
all
it's
free?
A free event.
It's free event. Okay, all right. So it's up. And if you're not sure, I know the young lady told you where it was, but it's where they decorate for Christmas, right?
I think so.
Yeah, nice decoration for
yeah,
that
the
time.
best decoration on the island, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. People loved it. Yeah, I would just want to say that I can't forget those who doing poetry too. You know, there will be 1 or 2 poets there, and it's important to notify that and agricultural speeches will be there too as well, because it is an agricultural market. And we're hoping that the persons who coming from overseas, knowing that that is an important day to travel, and it's a day that you're going to be free. You take the time out after you done do your farm tour. We encourage that all you come to see what we have to offer as an organic market, even if it's not on a big scale where we gain these multiple organizations to actually sponsor us. You know, we still put forward something, even if it's only from the group and we from the pocket, and we're making this thing happen for the people, because the people need to engage with agricultural development, because if the youths them lose agriculture, it doesn't matter whether you're a lawyer, doctor, musician, whatever work you choose. If there's no food for you to eat, you only got about 7 to 14 days to live. Correct. And if there's no water, make it even worse. It might be just 3 to 7 days. So let's be realistic. Agriculture is a very important thing for our culture's society, you know. And the reality is that we have to get more involved in that there, just even for our own survival, to even do a little backyard gardening still. So give thanks. Yeah. We want the people them to come out, support us, support the artists, support the idea, because we're going to also plant a fruit tree in the area where we go. Everywhere we go, we plant a fruit tree. So, and I want the item to just come through. There's also going to be a fun sports area for the children, in the sense that they're going to have these little fun games that they could play, like people on stick. People on stick instead of, they'll call it dog and bone, but we call it people and stick. We change it up because you don't want to call nobody children dog. Okay. And you don't want to run in for no bone and so we just change up the name, but it's that game still. Okay. And we're going to have a couple other little games where they could play lime and spoon. Them kind of ancient games, jumping up, the sack them and them thing, the sack race as we call it, so that the youth them could have those regular fun and not just sit down there and watch the event, but still pan the thing I play game and still I watch the artists them perform. No, we want the youth them engaged in the fun and who want to watch the artists because they're older. And we're asking that the team support the person who's gonna get the blessing, So I go out, So we want full support from the football team and the people in the community. Right now we're going door to door. We need your strength. Give thanks.
All right.
The DJ, I wanted to pick up the DJ before we forget him. DJ Slaughter, Miller Vibe Sound.
Yeah, good to remember.
All right.
So just to pick up the DJ, because he been every event from since I born and from since I know, it's Slaughter been,
Oh, okay.
Yes, Slaughter. Sorry, good to see you with that. I remember,
Found the sound, 98.9.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Here are your Horseless Value Mart IGA Independent Specials for September 18th through October 1st. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag Specials. Barilla pastas, just $6.99. Langus juices, apple and cranberry, $11.99. Essential Everyday Shredded and Chunk Cheese, $7.99. Sunny Delight Smooth and Tangy, $5.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Waffles, $9.99. Honey Bunches of Oats, $19.99. And now, our very low weekly value deals. IGA or Essential Everyday Salad Dressing, $9.99. OxyClean, just $32.99. Imperial Margarine, $8.99. Arm & Hammer Deodorant, $8.99. Duncan Hines cake mix, $6.99. Libby's canned vegetables, amazing, just $2.99. Shop smart, shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea. So go out and remember to support the event on Sunday, and it's from 2 to 9 p.m. at the Date Bay Lawn. And as they say, nice produce will be on sale. I just wish I could have gone to that, but you know, my life is just busy, busy, busy. Maybe one day, or maybe I have to make that day happen, where I can slow down and get to do what I have to do.
I'm sure there are times when you slow down.
Maybe to take a nap, but right after, as soon as I get up, I have something to do.
Well, I guess you're going to have to make the time to slow down.
Imagine I don't have the time without a child. Imagine when a child becomes involved, Quinn. You sorry for me already? Because I'm sorry for me too. Oh boy.
I don't think it's something to be sorry for.
But it just seems like as a married person without children, I have no time. So I could just imagine with a kid.
Trust me, you'll make time.
It's funny how we find time, we find money, we find everything to deal with that. But sometimes without that, it's like, I can't find it. You understand?
Yeah.
I never understand the logic. Because you say, oh, I don't have any money now. And then when you have a kid, you find the money to spend on the kid. How does that logic work? It baffles me. It baffles me sometimes.
Well, there's a saying, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, you're right. So, you got to do what you ought to do. And that's what we will continue to do here on Island Tea. And, okay. Did you saw the thing with the president of the U.S. yesterday where they were talking about banning the word that he couldn't say? He ended up just saying Tylenol, and it's acetaminophen, the ingredient in it.
Oh.
He couldn't say the word, and then he just went straight and said, it's just Tylenol. And somebody said when Jimmy Kimmel comes back on air, because apparently he's supposed to be back on air, if he doesn't make a joke about it, I think Don Lemon said it, he's going to have to talk to him. Because, you know, with the censorship and everything that's happening over there, people are mindful of what they have to say.
America is fast becoming a dictatorship.
Well, I just hope that the 4 years fly and everything gets back to normal soonest, because that's the nation that everybody looks to, and to look and see what is happening right now. It's going to be like what's happening over here. Imagine there.
Why is that the nation that everybody looks to?
I really don't know, to be honest, because everybody looks at it as great.
I think those who look to that nation for advice or what, I think it is to their detriment. You know, I don't see what you can garner from the United States that would enhance you or your lives or anything.
Well,
we know they're a superpower and we know where they're standing, that kind of stuff. But apart from that, what can we garner from them?
People could say they help.
If they're wise, they can garner from us. Yeah.
I like that. People might say we get a lot of aid and all these things from them, and they provide this and they provide that, and they're the voice that most people listen to.
You know something I'm reminded of so often when I look back to my childhood days, and I look into, like I said before, I sometimes follow this program that comes on. It is taken from an African village. I think the title of it is African Village. And when I watch that, it reminds me of when I was growing up, because it's like going back in time. And I say that to say this, like you were speaking about how they say we get aid and we get this and that. When you look at that village, you realize they don't have a lot of the things that we here in St. Kitts have right now. Yeah, they have electricity, running water, so forth. But for the most part, they live like how we used to live back then. A lot of them still live in kind of a chash houses with, part brick, part wall. Some of them are getting galvanized houses. But when you watch how they live and how they interact as a people, and you see the smiles on their faces, and it reminds me of when I was young growing up, and we didn't have the money and all the luxury, but we were happy.
Do you think it's because there were no hierarchy, or because there's no hierarchy there where somebody's houses look better than the other? You think it is because they see themselves on the same level?
Yeah, it is because they still follow that premise that we hear, that it takes a village, and they work as a village. When you see one person is going to be building a house, almost everybody in the village is going there and chip in and on the roof, and the person whose house they're building goes and gets some watermelon sometimes, or she puts on a pot.
Yeah.
I've seen where they slaughter a whole goat, and then man, I tell you, it's
we don't have the camaraderie anymore. It really doesn't take a village to raise a child now. That's why we have such an out-of-hand society.
That is why I say a lot of those big countries can learn from us, and we can learn from looking at those African villages and see where we've come. Because in a nutshell, what it is saying is, look, even if you move towards that point where you get the amenities and you have the TV and you have the phone and you have so much other things, a car and so forth, still work together as people.
Yeah, because none of us are better than none.
Yeah. Hello, caller.
Good morning, live in Island T.
Hi, good morning, Quint. Good morning, lady. Quite interesting that you start your morning tea discussion on this subject in terms of taking a village to raise a child.
Hello, caller.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Because I was saying to Quint, I was trying to find out trying to find out what direction he's going in and where he's thinking. Sometimes his words of thought that he brings out are very interesting. But one of the things that I wanted to rattle his brains on is to be mindful of the fact that we are getting older, and the children that are coming up are getting much older. And I was wondering, what are the preparations that are being made for them so that they could own themselves a very good living in the country of their birth, and if they are training that are being taking place, like they're having a trade, like to be a mason, a carpenter, because we know trade is becoming a thing of the future. And if we don't prepare for tomorrow or the eventuality, our children will be in trouble, and they'll be left out by the skilled people that will be coming into the island to do the jobs that they could do.
That is true, but let's take, for instance, we just had Sankofa here, and he was sitting in the chair where Cortense is now, and across from him was his daughter. And you listen to them, and you look at the way she look across at her dad, and you see the way he looked across at her, and at one point when he said, represent yourself to her, so, and it shows you that there's still that going on. Maybe we need more of it, that grassroots kind of a mother-child, father-child, thing. So there's still hope for us. We've not lost it. And then you heard her say that she's doing her own business, and siblings are into the music and
Yep.
that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's hope for the future. Yeah, sometimes we look and we say, boy, but then we should take a look on the other side. There's good and there's bad and there's hope. I
Oh.
think for the most part, though, our youths are moving in the right direction. It isn't the majority that are going down that
Yeah.
negative part.
Yeah, and
But
even
at the same time, even though I agree with you, sorry to cut you, but
that's okay.
the thing is that justice must not only be done, but it must be seen to be done. And like, for instance, if we know that hurricane will be here next week, everybody start preparing, buying lumber, plywood, and so on to board up. But are we preparing for the eventuality of the natural and the normal living day? I mean, that is only one out of the whole island, one person, but there could be many, and there could be multiple more that are doing similar things. But on a wide scale, are we preparing to have large construction? If so be the case, will we have to bring in tradesmen? Are we preparing to be mechanic for the new cars that are coming on stream and to do a professional job? Are we teaching these? How well are we doing to train our people?
Caller, I think that I hear you, but I think maybe those are the questions better asked not of me, but of our leaders and our leadership, because our leaders need to be cognizant of the fact that, for instance, for the life of me, I can't understand why they moved away from. You're well aware when we were growing up, in the school system itself, the boys could learn carpentry and mason, and the girls learned home economics, sewing, cooking, those kind of stuff.
I wonder if woodwork might probably still be a thing at TVEMs and in high school, but I'm not sure. But you're correct. We had a lot of things going on. I remember Mr. Woodley in Bassett High School having the machine shop over there and all of those things. I don't know if they still exist. And I heard one minister say that they were going to introduce civics in school.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has been introduced, so don't quote me. And as I heard one other person saying everybody was not meant to study the book. Some people are very technical with their hands and stuff. And I think that was something, I don't want to say I'm too sure about it, that they could introduce to decide who goes to maybe a technical school and who has the...
So caller, the onus is on the leadership, and if they are molding that, and perhaps we need to put a little bit more pressure on them and guide them in that direction. Let them know that.
And the now governor of Central Bank, I remember Mr. Antoine saying this a few years back, that we're going to have persons with all these education behind their names, 10, 9 subjects, their doctorate, whatever, but it won't be needed because everything will be about skill. So he was encouraging the young people in the same vein to get a skill, because with
now that we touched that part, and we Quinn spoke about leadership just now. I was looking at the electricity department. How well is management doing in terms of cross training? There are people who work online. They can't even go to a house and put in a back switch or something because they only know about pulling the line. They only know about planting the pole. In companies like that, they should have what you call cross training, so that most people who work in the system will have a familiarity with the system as to the way it works and the capability to do the best they can at the workplace. What about NAC? Have young people from the College of Further Education, the Technical Vocational Educational Center, put them to do a building under supervision, like a sample building. Some will learn to run blocks, some will learn to plaster, some will learn to do the steel, some will learn to do the electrical, some will learn to do the roofing, the carpentry work of it. And so out of that, they can see that the training would have had some effect. And the payment that they are getting for the PEP, they will be able to produce something and say, yes, I work on this building, I was trained here, and this is what I did. mechanic. They have a place where they could take in cars and they could check to make sure they could analyze the system. We have to start training, because out of that, that is where you get efficiency and effectiveness. We may need to know how to check the oil in the vehicle. We need to know how to make sure that the tires having the same amount of air, the water in the radiator. They are more need to know than what we are not knowing. And so you could question the mechanic, because most of our mechanic right now, if you ask them a question, they just leave the car there. When you're ready, I'll call you back. And when you ask them what they did, they cannot afford to tell you what they did to your car. So your car don't have a history, because the mechanic didn't tell you what he did. He just tell you how much he's charging you. And so these are the things that we have.
Caller,
and
maybe,
we need to fix
caller,
them yesterday.
Caller, maybe maybe that is a good point, because I don't understand why mechanics are hesitant to tell you what they did. Sometimes we find that with doctors too, but that is kind of breaking away. Where once ago, when you asked a doctor certain things, he wouldn't. But they are supposed to tell you, because if a mechanic tells you the basics of what he did, that doesn't mean that you're going to know his trade, because mechanics is a very intricate thing. It's a very deep thing. So I agree with you.
You know, at the owner who are paying, you're very cautious to those trade and professional people, because you don't want to get them on your wrong side. Because if they get vexed with you, you might have lost a good doctor, you might have lost a good mechanic.
But caller, that is what I'm saying. You and I are saying to the audience out there, especially to the skilled individual, like the doctors, the lawyers, the mechanics, and so forth, that there doesn't have to be a barrier between you and the person who employs you, because that's what they do. They employ you. So have a camaraderie, rather than Hortensia asks me. She says, "Quint, so you fixed the radio. What was wrong?" I can say, "Well, I opened it up and there was a wire bursted, and that wire was going to the speaker, or it was going to the ground and the chassis, and that is, just say that. That doesn't mean she's going to take my job." This is where insecurity in your trade comes in, because
once you're good at it, nobody can take that from you.
Because they feel like, I can't tell her, because next thing you know, she's going to do it herself. Look, I know some people. Now not going to go into a radio because they are just so afraid of electricity. So caller, yeah, we hear you, and you're right.
And then you will really have this history by saying, yes, Quint was in here in this radio. She changed the speaker wire, but Cynthia was here. She changed the capacity. Joe Blow was there, and she changed whatever the batteries or so on. So this is what happened to this. And so if you get a new worker who are new to the system that you have, you'll be able to explain to them what took place to your vehicle, to your household, whatever your electrical work did. And you'll have an explanation. But right now, people are in Jamaica. I have read the news. People in Jamaica, especially the women that the mechanic take advantage of, are putting up their hand and they're jumping for joy because the Chinese are there, and the Chinese are now saying, this is what happened to your vehicle, this is what we are going to do, this is the part that they need, and this is what we're going to do, and this is the time that we're going to take to fix it. And when it's finished, they give you a bill, and you say, thank you, ma'am, your car is running almost like new.
And that's a great point. You know why? I've often said to people, courtesy is a big thing. Now, it doesn't mean that those Chinese love you, but it means that those Chinese know how to run a business.
How to do business, yeah.
You understand? And it goes back to something that we wondered why some of those mom and pop shops went out of existence. I'll tell you why.
Most of them, we trust them out of business.
Not only that, one of the reasons was that some of them, not all of them, mind you, the majority of them were very, especially those run by the older folks, were very good. But there were some of them, when the younger folks started to take over, they had this attitude like, you come in their shop and they snub up their nose. Soon as, even now it happens, you have a mom and pop shop, the shop is right next to the house, but soon as a certain time, they're locked up and you can't get to them. But look at the Chinese. They're open all the time. You understand?
And
Holidays, they're open. Now, we're not saying you're going to be a slave, but we're saying if you learn to be a little more accommodating, people will work with
And
you.
the next thing I've heard people complain about the local shops too is when they ask them, so why you don't have the, just go by the Chinese. I'm like, okay, so you just ran
Yeah,
me, your
an
good
attitude.
customer,
Yeah, an
to the
attitude.
Chinese. And then when I don't come back, you say Chinese steal all the business. But you
But
didn't
can
remember that day
only
when you
get-
run me.
But you can only get that from training, discipline.
Yeah.
Because if you are trained to do something quick, you remember the doctor was speaking this morning? You one will have to discipline yourself. If you get up this morning and you feel like not taking exercise, that is when you should go. Because if you fail to do so and you put your weight on somebody and you say, man, they kill me spirit, they ain't show up, me ain't going again, you will not do anything.
Exactly.
So you must discipline yourself that if you have a business, and if you, most of the time, if you're working for yourself, you normally work harder and you
Yep.
put in more hours for yourself than if you were working for somebody else.
someone else, yeah.
Bracha made the statement and say, we will be going forward into independence, and you think you work hard for the plantation owner or the estate owner, wait until you start working for yourself and you find out how hard it is. You have to work harder to achieve the goal that you want to achieve. Quint, there is no such thing named good luck. Preparation meets opportunity. That is luck. If you prepare for a job and the position arrives and you are ready, you can slide into the job and perform like you've been there for years. But the thing is, if you have no preparation, there is no good luck. No matter how much good luck come to you, you cannot use it because you was not ready.
That's true.
He who failed to plan to fail.
Big
and if we fail to plan now, we are preparing to fail in the future coming towards us. We are failing and our people are failing not because they're failing by themselves, but on both sides, you need parents, you need teachers, you need ministers of government, you need even training in spending your money that you make. You want to tell me that you work all week for $100 at WinFM, and you walk down the road and some fool take the $100 bill from you in 1 minute? Well, you're so smart, then he send you back to work at WinFM for one more $100 to come and lose it again the same way you have lost it yesterday. Plan. Execute. You hear the lady say this morning, she don't know where money coming from for the children. And when there was no children, there was no money. Now children come, money come for the children because
find
of
the
preparation and planning. Those are the dynamics that we need to put in place, and those are the issues that we should sit under the tree and discuss how we're going to go forward. And let us not be foolish with our generating income, because that expenditure will determine how we live.
Yeah. Okay,
I think
caller.
I have talked enough. Have a good day, Queen.
Thank you.
Yeah, as usual, words of wisdom.
Indeed, indeed. Words of wisdom, indeed.
So let's take a brief commercial break and we'll be right back to wrap up.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. We want your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And we are back on Island Tea.
And we have a caller.
Okay, caller, go ahead. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Hortensia. Good morning, Quinn.
Good day.
I think it is human resource. It's small, yet it can be utilized in more ways than one. As we develop, we realize that there are some open spaces, and the planners that we need to have a comprehensive plan. I got a pushback in 2013 because of, there wasn't a thorough plan going forward. Where would cable wires, where would electrical wires be laid, so that there's a blueprint so that we would know as we look forward, and the ordinary citizen have vision and they will want to give an input into the beautification and the landscaping of the land, because apart from the government, there needs to be some decentralization of certain planning. Case in point, in 2013, when I decided to plant the moringa trees on the Frigate Bay, main going towards Frigate Bay from the Newtown community, especially by the football field going east.
Okay.
I was told that, there was going to be some lighting planning and so forth, and do not plan. And I said, no, the lighting project and my planting can coexist. Lo and behold, and so I asked a question, where are the lightings going to be? Okay, they're going to be here. I said, okay, I'm going to plant on the inside. And lo and behold, both of them, the lighting is there and the trees are there, and the trees created an open space for an open market. I got my children involved. But that's not just the only place that we need to develop and enhance. Because all on Sancho will agree that our food security, it needs remedial, introspection. It really needs some attention. And there are so many verges along, as you go around St. you can see. Case in point, St. Paul's. There's another one in probably Utley's. Those verges are coconut trees, mango trees, breadfruit trees are planted. So I asked myself, so why not? Where are the others? Where was that extended vision to the other verges around the island? And there are so many others. So why we don't start to plant more fruit trees in those verges? Why we don't start to plant do more landscaping in terms of beautification?
And you know
the F.
something?
Williams Highway is fast becoming another area.
And you know something, Africa? Those fruit trees, I've seen sometimes when I'm traveling on a bus, I've seen when a fruit is in season, I've seen people park up under those fruit trees and pluck those fruits. And I've seen people with their families, husband and his wife and 2 kids, and they're having a jolly good time parked up under a tree, laid back and enjoying those fruits. And I remember thinking to myself on different occasions, this fruit tree thing, it's a good thing. So I agree with you.
Yes, Quinn. Yes, because the Kim Collins Highway with the elderberries, those berries there.
Yeah.
And other people will appreciate, and other people have already appreciated the foundation that was laid, as small and as minuscule as it might have been. There was a template that was laid, and we are not building on it.
Yeah, we need to.
My initiative, it was not a startup. It was a continuum.
Yeah.
And the elderberries, because I can see the Indian communities here, they go and they pick the moringa and so forth. And other people's culture who have called think it's home
and also
are making best of it.
And also the Pomserat.
That used to be I'm thinking the same
Yeah,
thing. I've seen
people are
families on
picking.
the trees.
I've seen
Yeah.
those trees laden with pomseret, and
Mhm.
people just park up and have a go at them. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, so here is it. In the back of my mind, and I was emboldened by even the initiative of me planting those trees and what they have become, and the space, the open market space where commerce thrives today. The F.T. Williams Highway, but it needs shade, and trees are the best shade we can think about. So therefore, and also there's a tree there. It used to be a part of the compound of where the old factory used to be, where Golden Rock, because there used to be a little golf course in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't you're familiar with it. And
Hold
there's a tree there.
hold a second there. We have another caller, and big time is running out. So let them interject. Hello, caller.
Yes, good morning, Prim.
Okay.
I'm Carpenter here.
Good morning, Mr. McMahon. How are you?
I'm good.
Good morning.
Yeah. So for Africa, finish your point.
Yes, and so that area also, we can plant trees and bring about the beautification, and as we go along. But we don't need to be retarded, be discouraged by, the relevant authority is going to come and say, oh no, there's going to be wire laid here. We need to see that blueprint so we can avoid where the wires will be laid.
Yeah,
and
communication.
use the space that is there available, but we need to plant more.
Yeah.
I am going to do it, and I'm going to make a proposal, okay? Because this administration, they're not going to listen to me. I'm going to make a proposal for the prior administration come 2028 or thereabout, and when the next administration is formed, and I'm going to make that proposal going. And that will give me the earnest to criticize these guys that I'm being critical of, to criticize the next administration who would not adopt it, and I hope they adopt it, because we're talking about food security. And our scarce human resource, the Parks and Beach Unit, they're doing a tremendous job, but they're just cutting the grass. They're not doing much planting. Why can't you save a day in the 5 days of the week for planting initiative?
Yeah.
Get down in the verges. We're not talking about cleaning the verges, so that you can create landslide and the like. But just to plant trees, identify the guavas, the soursops, the bananas, and the mangoes, whatever fruits we have, and start to plant trees in those verges.
Yeah.
That's my piece for now. And I'm going to carry it on.
Okay. Thanks for your input. Yeah. So, Mr. McMahon, you can go ahead
Yeah.
now.
That's a very good idea. Just be careful what you plant on the verges, though. Comes to mind, I don't know if you remember Ammon Walk on the eastern side of the island, right?
Yeah.
So if you select proper plants, yes, trees, large trees is a different problem. That creates maintenance and other problems, and even road erosion and so on. So they have to be careful with planting trees, large trees on the verges. But certainly, we can plant them in the guts. And I like the idea of using the people who clean the verges, or parks and beaches, I think it might be.
But Mr. McMahon,
have a planting season.
Mr.
Yeah.
McMahon, even those large trees, they don't have to get so large, you know. If people would have a pruning, for instance, you used the example of parks and beaches. If they would prune those trees would last for years and years and years and never come to that humongous size.
Well, that's questionable.
No, that's true.
If you look at
I
Greenland.
have some mango
Look
trees.
at Greenland.
Yes.
Look at Greenland. That main road going to Greenland is there, right? They were pruned, but eventually, they just grew too big and they started.
Because the pruning is not consistent. I have a mango tree I have a number of trees, but I have in particular a mango tree. I have pear tree and all those, and I prune them. But I use the mango tree particularly because a mango tree could grow so big it could take up the space of tree house lots. You understand? If you allow it to really spread out. And that mango tree, I keep it pruned, and it's but you have to be consistent.
Yeah. Well, I think though that orchards, things like orchards, are more better placed in places like, let's say, the guts.
Well, we're not speaking orchards. We're speaking just a fruity here and there. But yes, what you're saying about orchards, that's a whole different story.
Right. You know, low maintenance, pretty sure of water and that kind of thing. And as well as on the, we have those pastures around the island that don't have lots of trees on them. You can just think of the pastures around the island, right? And in various village areas and so on. They don't have a lot of trees on them.
Yeah.
Okay, and those are ideal. That's ideal locations for these things. I would think.
I would
Definitely
think
we
so
should be
too.
planting more trees. We just have to be careful. I don't think, because I think that highway maintenance, road maintenance becomes a problem. Verge maintenance becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Once you plant trees.
If you don't,
really we should be going for mechanization of verge maintenance too.
Yes.
Right. Rather than the manual thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Is labor intensive.
I agree.
But by the way, I did look at research that Ibrahim Traore statue, and they, in fact, it's supposed to be opened in October.
Yes.
Right. And I like I said, I wonder about the cost and the fact that it's so not in keeping with his style and agenda.
And it's in Burkina Faso?
It's in Burkina Faso, yeah.
Okay.
Right, So.
Well, I guess my only thought along that vein would be that perhaps it is what the people want, but you're right, it is not in the vein of who he really is and that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
And he could have stopped it if he wanted to be quite honest. We know that. Okay, so it's all well and good. Again, it's interesting. The number of articles I saw on it says the people are building to show gratitude and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You could easily have said, hold off on that. Let's use money and resources for other things. So long. Yeah. Okay, that would eventually come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then again, maybe too, there's another side to it, because the way how they're managing their money so far, I guess maybe they feel, well, look, we've got the money, because for them, because they've taken over their resources and so forth, money doesn't seem to be a problem right now. But then again, you never know down the line. So I still concur with what you say.
Yeah. When you're in a leadership position, you should show frugality and responsibility when using state resources.
Yeah.
So if it was private resources, I guess it would have been okay.
Yeah.
Once it's private resources and somebody decides to do that, that's fine. Okay. But if it's public resources, that's another matter altogether.
Mm.
Okay then.
Okay then. Take care and thanks for your input. And that's how we're going to end things for today. Have you anything to say, my dear?
Yeah, I have a nice little thing to say as we leave out of here. I just want to, happiness is the new rich, inner peace is the new success, health is the new wealth, kindness is the new cool. So let's exercise all of these today and have a great Tuesday.
And I'm going to play this clip just before we end, because it is quite a bit of poetry, but with a twist of how we as men can be very good with our words sometimes. Listen to this.
We were at a restaurant. I saw her at the table alone with her food. I walked over. I said, "Hey, I'm your new waiter. That's cool?" She said, "My new waiter," and looked a little confused. I said, "Because if you tell me what you want, I'm going to give it to you." She said, "Oh, you thought that was smooth." She said, "What makes you think I'm single?" As she cocked her head and locked her hands. I said, "Well, on your ring finger, I didn't spot a rock or band, so it didn't stop my plans, because if it's just your boyfriend, I still got a chance." "My name's Cloud, and you're a pleasure to meet." "Why Cloud?" "Because the sky is the limit with me." She said, a quick thinker, you a fast one. I laughed some. She said, how many women you say this to? I said, you the last one.
A little bit of humor.
He just got too much going on there. His lyrics are just lyricking.
I'll tell you, we can be smooth sometimes.
Listen,
Yeah.
but she'll be the last. How many people you told that to?
You take care. We're out of here.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 Win FM.
If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices. Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty. Rams is always here. We are community. We are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
They can't keep a good man down. Always keep a smile when they want me to frown. Keep the vibes and I stood my ground. They will never ever take my crown. Oh, Jah bless, I say no man curse. Things getting better when they thought it would be worse. Here comes the officers asking for a search. They found no weapon, just only a draw first. But I'm so solid as a rock, they just can't stop me now. Even when they set their traps, they just can't stop me now. People will say this and that, they just can't stop me now. Even when they set up roadblocks, they just can't stop me now. When they come with their evil thought, I just listen whenever they talk. That is the light into my dark. He cut and clear all my path. They fight me without a cause, trying to make my life so hard. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, give it all reward. I'm so solid as a rock, they just can't stop me now. Even when they set their traps, they just can't stop me now. People will say this and that, they just can't